For you to hold anybody accountable, it means that the person has given you a promise in that area. And so you are going to hold him based on what he has told you. And right now, all the politicians, they are busy churning out manifesto of what they want to do. But I think part of what citizen is also supposed to know is to come up with a citizens charter and see how we reconcile it with the manifesto of these people.
The first condition for accountability is transparency. Because if I don't know the opening balance, it will be difficult for me to be asked to comment on the closing balance. The Fiscal Responsibility Act talks about quarterly budget implementation reports. Budgets are made, everybody claps when the president signs it into law. The law now says issue quarterly budget implementation reports, so that since we all saw the budget, we can now look at the implementation report and compare it with what you promised to do. And then we'll be in a position to now comment to say, oh, you've done well, or there are things that were promised to be done that you did not do. That's the challenge we have. The access to information, the transparency that is needed, the technology that should be deployed has not been properly used to be able to monitor, because you monitor, then you report.
Effective Nigerian resource governance is a governance that is collective without sidelining anybody in the discussion around how extractive resources should be used for the good of Nigerians.
Experts say every citizen must be involved, with everyone playing his or her part in holding the government accountable through advocacy, constant engagement, and critical scrutiny of government policies and programs at all levels of governance.
As 2023 is coming, we want real engagement by the people, so that as politicians come to campaign to them, we're able to present issues to them in terms of the type of things that we want them to do going forward. And it is only when they enter into position we cannot demand accountability from them.
All promises should have with a timeline. Timeline is very key. So that with the timeline, if you say in 100 days you are going to do this, if you didn't do it, Nigerians will call the person to order. That Mr. President or Mr. Governor, you promised us that you're going to give us 3 kilometers road from so place to this, and up till now you've done nothing. What is happening?
This indeed is very important in governance, helping leaders keep track of their actions.
As you are advocating, part of the things that citizens ought to do is to point the way out for government. This year, we couldn't meet the benchmark for budgetary allocation to education. But we think that by the time you do X, Y, Z, it will give you more resources to be able to meet up the budgetary provision.
If democracy is working and you came to us to ask for a mandate and we gave you the mandate, and then the majority of us are of the opinion that X should be done and you simply ignore us, at the next election cycle, we vote against you. That's why it is important that the system of democracy should be allowed to flourish so that the peoples will reign supreme.
So, how well do you perform your civic responsibility of holding your leaders accountable to ensure they are alive to their responsibility?